What's up, Chancellor T here. I got some direct statements I'm gonna make. Sometimes you got to make these statements and people don't agree with them, but that don't matter no more. You just gotta say what you gotta say, you know. So what's wrong with our country? Well, the country in itself is there's the land, and then there's a system of governing, and then there's the people that created that system of governing. Ultimately, the land belonged to God. He created it. Man claimed rights to it, and God allowed that to be set up because you have to hold back evil, and He allowed governing systems, and you have to protect the people that are in that system. So, thus, you get a bunch of people that are supposed to be very intelligent, and they make rules and regulations for us all to guideline and guide by. And sometimes they get it right, and sometimes they get it wrong, and sometimes they got to tweak it. But over time, it gets tweaked. But the people ultimately are flawed. Now, if they admit that, that's a great thing, because then they can go to God and get aid and get help to help govern beautifully. But then you got people that don't want to go to God, their God, or they go to a different God, or they believe in a different God. They don't believe in the God of the Holy Bible, who is the one true God. And that was a direct statement right there. So, see, not everybody gonna agree with that, because people been trained up different. They got their own different opinions, but that don't matter no more, because when it comes down to the end, the one that has proven himself as the one true God, the God of the Holy Scriptures, the God of the Holy Bible, not the Holy Quran, and not no other religions, not no Hare Krishnas, not no Mormons, not no the Jews ain't got it all correct either. They had to add to theirs and tweak it, because they left the one true God, and they didn't go along with his systems. What he had set up, not his systems, but what he set up through Jesus Christ. So what happens when you do that? You add to it. But that's another avenue that I'm not trying to go down. So us as flawed individuals need God. What's wrong with the country? You got a bunch of people with different belief systems that weren't supposed to come in and influence the main belief system. They were supposed to hold back. The men of God were supposed to continue on. But you also got spiritual warfare. You got spiritual entities influencing these people, whether they agree with it or not. Some know this, some won't admit it, some will, and some won't. And some don't know that they're being manipulated. We're walking around thinking that we got it all figured out, and that we are just us making these decisions, and you don't know nothing about the Holy Scriptures. You don't know nothing about demonic and spiritual warfare. You don't know nothing about Satan. You think Satan's some guy with some horns and some red, and some dressed in red and the red cape. That ain't true. A lot of times when I encounter these angels, they look like they're young, but they shorter. They ain't always super big like Michael or something like that, but they powerful. It don't matter what size they are, they powerful. I've seen a number of them. They look like, not like children, but younger. It's weird. But it don't matter. They got that power from the one true God. I've also seen demons. And I think I've also seen some of these fallen angels. They were small, some were big, some were small. So, and then some look like different creatures. But that's another avenue that we don't want to get into. What I'm saying is, they're real. The supernatural realm is real. I can't deny it. I didn't experience too much. I wouldn't lie to you or lead you straight. I've seen it in the physical realm, and I've seen it in the spiritual realm, and what people call dream state. I've seen too much to sit here and have time to play games. It can all be shown to you, and God has laid out convincing evidence. So back to what's wrong with the country. We got this man in the White House, Donald Trump, billionaire. Everybody knows who Donald Trump is reality TV star. But before that, everybody knew who he was. Before he was a reality TV star. That's how he became a reality TV star. Because he was important. Why was he important? Because he was a mogul. He did good things in his life. He didn't do everything perfectly, but he did things to make you know who he is. That's why you got his name on your mouth. That's the reason why he's sitting in the White House. He didn't just jump into that position. People put him there. There's a reason why he was nominated. It was the reason why he was one of the choices. Now that can go into the Hegelian dialect if you want to know that, if it be true, or it could be the fact that he just so happened to got fed up with what was going on with the flawed people running our country, which made our system flawed. Because they have another agenda that they want to bring about. It's all in the Bible. It goes in the book of Revelation. They want to set up the one world government, which they will eventually whenever God allows them to do that. He is the one that holds them back. So if he wants to raise up a Donald Trump, whoever else, he want to raise up let a wicked leader rule, he could take their breath away. Come on now, let's just keep it real. You wouldn't even hear about him if he didn't want you to hear about him. He could have stopped them as a youth. He could have not let them been born. But ain't nothing out of his hands. Ain't nothing out of his control. So we are where we are. God allowed him. There's a reason why you know who he is. This man, you can't keep saying everything this man decides, everything he does is wrong. I don't care if you like him or not. He didn't become a billionaire. I don't care how he became a billionaire, if he was given it or whatever. He got it, and he maintained it, and he's growing it. He didn't become prosperous and maintain prosperity because he was an idiot. Maybe he had a little easier, it was given to him, I don't know. But at the same time, yeah, he got some bailouts out and some things like that. He made mistakes too. He'll tell you that with his own breath. But they ain't just let him have no show because he's an idiot. And they do let some idiots have shows. But I digress. So everything this man decides ain't wrong. You have to follow your morals if you have any left. A lot of people have been dumbed down by this dumbed down system. They did it on purpose. Because if you don't know your rights, if you don't know what God did for you, you don't know even what the basic human rights are in your country and your lands. If you don't know these things, you ain't going to protect them. And then somebody else is going to be able to come along, lie to you, and take them from you. Trick them out of you. Trick them away from you. By the time you figure it out, it'll be too late. You won't have them. That's the importance of knowing God, knowing his word, knowing what he did. So you can even see above even the systems. To say, this is his land. And even this system is a laid platform on top of his stuff. Right? You're made by God. Nobody owns you. They want you to think that they own you, but they don't own you. You're a free person on the land. Unless you put yourself underneath their systems. Look up free man on the land and you'll see the grid that there has to be laid for you to put yourself underneath the power of human beings to function in their societies or to choose not to. Looking at my time here. So that's in a nutshell what's wrong. You got flawed people making flawed decisions, and you got a system where you got a bunch of people trying to do and set up rulership of their true leader, their God, the one that they choose to follow, and this Satan. It ain't hard to figure out. You can track it down, and that's how you get into the ugliness of witchcrafts, and you start seeing stuff when it got too close of pedophilia and things like that, and satanic things start coming out in the WikiLeaks, and just not those, but over the course of time in all these countries and all these rulers, whether they be princes, kings, presidents, ambassadors, prime ministers, captains of industry, wherever they be. So, and whoever they be. Or to the laymen, judges. All right? They join themselves to these systems. I'm sorry, but that's the truth. God showed me something a long time ago in this dream vision that he wanted me to share with y'all. It's a little side note, but it's very important. I remember back not too long ago, there was this girl that came up missing, right? She was a blonde-haired girl, and they was looking for her in the woods, and they said something about her brother. If y'all remember what I'm talking about, it was just like, I forget her name or something. I didn't do no research before I start saying all this, but it was not too long ago. It was made national news where they was looking for this girl. When she got kidnapped at her house, they thought the brother might have did it and all this. And something happened weird that day, and I was like, what in the world? Why can't they find this girl, you know? What's going on with this girl? The Holy Spirit of God said, I will show you what happened to her. In that vision, you hear me? This goes along with sex trafficking, subject matter, pedophilia, things that's been coming out in the WikiLeaks, the Pizzagate type stuff. So in that vision, God showed me that girl. I didn't see her, but I went. He took me outside the courthouse, and in the basement of that courthouse, you know, you look at the little brick building. You know, it's like a courthouse looking setting. I heard the girl screaming, "Help! Help!" I said, "That's the courthouse. That's where the jail is. You know, at the bottom in the holding cells and stuff." But I was on the outside, didn't see her physically. Then we went to this other area, like she was transported. I didn't see the whole transporting process. We was in the other area, like in a desolate side of a city, and this girl was in this building, tied up. And then all these men in these black suits came in there. And they had guards and stuff. It was like the president or the Secret Service would have came up in there. They was moving and acting like that. That's when God has showed me, this is what's going on. If the police take her, if the officials take her, who's going to look for her to find her? They can tell you anything. And now you're seeing that these officials are involved in these kidnapping. United Nations soldiers and sex trafficking rings and stuff. If the people don't stand up and stop this, that's why they hushing all these people up, and people scared to stand up and address these issues, because you got to come together as a people, and you got to put your foot down on this snake's neck. You can't just let this snake keep functioning. You got to put your foot down. People scared. That's what they want you to do. They'll kill somebody. But they kill somebody, 10 more people stand up. Get together and get this stuff figured out and come after these folks and lock them up. If you don't, they're going to continue doing what they're doing. It's a perverse evil now. I'm trying to see here. Another vision God wanted me to share with you was it was like a futuristic time or something when people was taking in the land. It was like they was inviting people to dinner, right? You'd be like, oh yeah. It was like the poor society and it was the rich class. This is a different vision, okay? And then so in this vision, the rich folk would go over to the poor side and be like, hey, we're inviting you to dinner. Come up here with us and put you on some new garments and bring you over. And we went into this restaurant, and then we were sitting at the table, and there was all these different tables, and you could see all these different people from some people from the poor side sitting there, and you were like, oh, you were honored to come here and be here too? Yeah. And we was, looking at each other. Then all of a sudden, I'm sitting at the table with people, and they looking at me, right? And we looking at it. Then all of a sudden, somebody reached over and licked and bit my arm, like tasted me. I was like, what the heck? Then you realize you was the meal. This is the heinous mindset God is showing us that's behind these people. Because Satan is up close to them. And when you get close to Satan, you get satanic things. And I'm sorry, but it's the truth. And you're going to have to open up your eyes. You're going to have to catch up. You got to wake up. You got to get with God, and He'll show you the truth. This could be going on now. It could be going on later. They eating folks. They kidnap folks. They raping children. They doing all this evil stuff. We gonna have to learn to pay attention. That is what's wrong with the country. They threw off the chains of God. They got close to the evil one because he stepped right in. He wants his kingdom. If you know what the Bible teaches is Satan wanted to rule. He wants his kingdom. He wants to rule. God's not going to let him. But God is allowing things, time for us to choose Christ wholeheartedly. And He gave us power over evil, over Satan and demons. And over wicked people. They're not as powerful as you think. If the people come together and they rise up and they take back what the enemy stole from them. But you got to take it.
3 left lanes.
You can't just, they're not going to give it up to you. See what they're doing to the president of the United States. You got to support him. You got to come together. You got to watch him too. Make sure he ain't one of them. He ain't taste that flesh. He don't flip a roux on us. I don't think he did. But hey, you never know the games and psychological games people play. But I doubt it. I think he's legit. But only God knows. I really think God has got him. Or is getting more and more of him. Because the more evil come his way, the more he's going to have to learn to fight. And the closer that, hey, they'll draw you to Christ, what he's going through. But he can't do it on his own. Everybody want to put him in there and then wait for him to do everything. As you can see, the same people that put him in there need to support him. If you don't, and then if the church is divided on these issues about freedoms and the wickedness that's going on, it's because you're not in the know, you're not close to Christ. You're not. You call yourself a Christian, you're divided. There ain't such thing as a liberal Christian. You're either a child of God or you ain't. You're either a soldier of Christ or you're not. Or you're just a citizen. Or you're just somebody using them for your salvation. That's why you're on the wrong side of these issues. Yeah, I said it. We better wake up. We better wake up fast. Because they trying to take back your reprieve. And they try to keep business going as usual. Which is nothing but the furtherment of enslavement of the squashing of the Christian voice, because they don't want God in the land. Jesus said if they persecuted me, they'll persecute you. They want to come after you. They want to take it from you. God bless. That's what's wrong with our country.